Hey everybody, welcome to WTF Hammer Underworlds. Today's video is going to be the final, season 2.5 Dreadfane balancing video, but this time looking at Lady Harrow's Mournflight, whose review I will be linking in the description, to which I came to draw the following conclusions about this warband. That they're very strong. They have a very strong array of objective cards, which gives them lots of passive and aggressive glory options. They also have a strong array of power cards, which viciously impair enemies while giving themselves large boosts to their very versatile playstyle. They also have many special abilities that they get when they're inspired, which aside from being able to hit hard and to hit accurately, can also help them to cover a lot of ground. And although they do have somewhat of a difficult inspire mechanic, this is alleviated by their amazing power cards. So overall, when I look at this warband, I had given them a rank of S, which I do stand by, which means that this warband is in desperate need of a nerf. So what I'm going to be doing throughout this video is I'm going to be making recommendations with regard to Errata, that being, some changes that Games Workshop could impose on their existing faction-specific cards to dumb them down a little bit, as well as introduce some new faction-specific cards that could be released that would, fundamentally help to nerf this warband, and also bring them to the same final card count that other warbands that I have reviewed finished at, as per my suggestions. So let's start by looking at the Errata. Nothing major here, just my recommendation is just that they obtain a bit of objective card errata, specifically some extra restrictions. So in the newest iteration of the FAR list, one will has been restricted, which basically is to gain a glory immediately if you hold an odd or even number objective with this warband, which is very good, but it's honestly not super amazing. What is amazing are these two cards, which I find are just stronger than that particular card that is restricted, and I don't really see a reason why these two cards can't be restricted as well, because they're just freebies. And not only are they freebies, they're freebies that synergize with their inspire mechanic, and I'll explain that in a second. So if you look at fleeting memories, so this is a surge that you score immediately when a friendly fighter finishes a move action and entered 2 or more different hexes that contain an objective during that move action worth a glory. So basically, just moving through 2 objective tokens gets you a free glory, and if you combine that by moving through an enemy fighter, you could become inspired as well, getting a free glory, making this just better than one will, which requires 2 activations in order to score. And Inescapable Hunger is very similar. You score this immediately when a friendly fighter makes a move action through 1 or more blocked hexes, then ends a move adjacent to an enemy fighter. So similarly, you can move through a blocked hex that you cleverly place there through your map selection. Move through an enemy fighter, land next to him, boom, you scored this, your dude's inspired. Freebie glory, I don't see any reason why these 2 cards shouldn't be restricted as well. It would definitely help to nerf this warband, which it very much needs. They have really strong cards, way too many strong cards, especially when compared to other warbands. And I would at least force them to have some hard decisions. If they decided to put these 3 restricted cards into their deck, well, they wouldn't have access to any of the universal restricted cards, which would really help balance things out. And that's really my main suggestion for this warband, just that errata, that these 2 cards, Fleeting Memories and Inescapable Hunger, become restricted, just like one will is restricted. But I do have other suggestions as well for the new faction-specific cards, which are kind of redundant, but I did come up with suggestions either way, so I'm just going to go through those with you. And the logic is basically this. So in deck building in this game, you need to have 12 objective cards and 20 or more power cards, split evenly between gambits and upgrades, generally speaking. And Lady Harrow's Mournflight has this already. Just like Iron Soul's Condemners has it, just like all the Beastgrave warbands has it already. So they are play out of the box. There's really not much reason to introduce new faction-specific cards, if not for the fact that I'm OCD. And in all my previous balancing videos, the final card count that warbands finished off with was 11 gambits and 11 upgrades to go with their 12 objective cards. So for the sake of consistency, I'm just going to be recommending 2 new power cards, a mediocre gambit card, a mediocre upgrade card, just to make it so that these guys finish off with the same card count that other warbands that I have reviewed and balanced finished with. So my first suggestion is going to be that Ploy card, which is just an unexceptional card that's thematic. My recommendation would be a faction-specific Darkness Descends that can be called Faded Form. This is basically a Season 1 universal card that got rotated out, and it's really not that exceptional. You basically play it, and then the first attack action, the next activation has only a range of 1, so it's a good anti-range card, but it does also fit within the theme of these guys being ghosts. The justification is that it has a ghostly feel to it, and it would help units against range attackers, which would promote melee, which is really the best way that these guys inspire, by moving through units in melee. So it does sort of have that thematic aspect to it, but it really isn't an exceptional card. for the most part, unless you're expecting to play against a lot of rangy warbands. And my next recommendation is kind of similar. So for upgrades, I just recommend an unexceptional card that is also thematic, a faction-specific Cloak of Shadows, which can be called Shadowy Spectre. So this is a Nightvault universal card that will be rotated out as well. And this basically is a card that gives +1 defense to a fighter when they are adjacent to no fighters. So basically good against range attacks as well, and could work well with Lady Harrow's ability to be sort of pushed around the battle map, but also just not very exceptional. So formal justification here is that it provides further boost against range, and it also fits into the theme of Vanishing Ghosts. And that basically does it for my recommendations. So my Errata cards are summarized above. As far as new faction-specific cards are concerned, I just recommend a new Gambit card just to match other warbands that I've reviewed and balanced. That being a faction-specific Darkness Descends that can be called Faded Forms, and a new upgrade card for the same reasons. That could be a faction-specific Cloak of Shadows called Shadowy Spectre. So that does it for this balancing video. I hope you enjoyed. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. And if you have any comments or suggestions, please comment below. And that basically does it for the Dreadfane reviews and balancing videos. And starting next week, I'm going to be looking at Beastgrave. Thanks for watching.